Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Sandy Deshawn, and this is our discussion board post regarding the legacy of Thomas Jefferson. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach. Thomas Jefferson's legacy could encompass many things, such as many of you discussed: slavery, his presidency, some of the controversial things that he said and did, or maybe even some of you considered his religious faith. I'm going to look at something a little different: the War on Terror. Well, what does the War on Terror have to do with Thomas Jefferson, you might ask? Well, it kind of, for us as Americans, we might think as the War of Terror starting on September 11th. But in reality, it started in October 1784 with the capture of the American ship the Betsy along the coast of Morocco. At this ship, they were able to take hostages. And additionally, if you're familiar with the Battle Hymn of the Republic, you might be aware of the line that says, "From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli." Well, this is where the first War on Terror began, along the North African coast. It had to do with countries such as Morocco, Algiers, and Tripoli, commonly called the Barbary Coast. Now, Barbary Coast had been receiving payments from countries that wanted to pass through the Mediterranean. Europe had been making payments on our behalf until we became a free country, in which they stopped the payments. So they were essentially buying safe passage. No payment means that you would put yourself at risk of being taken hostage. Now that America was free, Europe would no longer make payments on the behalf of the Americans, so Washington, being president, decided to send Adams and Jefferson on a mission to Europe to discuss the payments with the leaders of those countries. They walked out of the meeting with two very different ideas. Adams walked out feeling like, we just need to continue with the payments. We'll just take we'll avoid hostages by just making the payments. Now, Jefferson came out with a completely different idea. He felt like we could make the payments temporarily, but we needed to reestablish our Navy and proceed to take control of the Mediterranean and not allow these countries along the Barbary Coast to take our ships hostages, or any other hostages for that matter. So, as Washington left office, Adams stepped in and he continued the payments even though the ships were ready to go into the Mediterranean. He was less aggressive, I guess you could say, than Jefferson. And when Jefferson came to office, he made the decision that he was going to confront these Barbary pirates in the Mediterranean with a fleet of 6 new ships. Unbeknownst to most, the North African countries had declared war on the United States in May of 1801. And Jefferson believed that we had to intervene. The problem was that Jefferson did not obtain congressional approval in order to intervene. He kept the story quiet, mostly out of fear that he might not be able to win victory in this situation. American ships, including the Philadelphia, were being taken hostage along the Barbary Coast, and in 1804, American ships, our new Navy ships, along with a couple of Swedish ships, inflicted damage to the Barbary Coast, and the Pasha of Barbary quickly gave in. So how does this contribute to the legacy of Thomas Jefferson? Well, he fought the first War on Terror, Islamic terror. He cleared the way for world trade and opened the waterways of the Mediterranean for safe travel of ships. Jefferson did things a little unconventional and even against the Constitution, but he believed that he had to act now and ask for forgiveness later. I first heard about this story from the Fox News contributor Brian Kilmeade, who wrote Thomas Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates, a story often referred to as the Forgotten War. You'll also find some great videos on YouTube that talks about this War on Terror, and as I said, I would recommend Brian Kilmeade's book, Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates. Thank you very much.